Well, now this picture, Helen, do you remember this? Very hot day, and we'd been, I don't know, out in the garden and everything else, and we had this wonderful bucket of
champagne bucket,
bucket, a Lanson champagne bucket there, and we'd filled it. It was full of ice cubes.
Yes.
Because we'd had a bottle of champagne. We'd been celebrating something or other. I don't know what it was, but anyway, the champagne, the ice cubes all began to melt, and he was so hot. He came up and he stuck his head in the ice bucket and started to drink the ice water, but it was so funny. We thought everybody would think it was champagne, but it wasn't. It was just pure water.
He was always trying to, whenever we'd sit, because we'd often sit, wouldn't we, around that table outside. And he
that's Helen here. There's
come
you
along,
there, Anna and Smokey.
Yeah.
You see his paddock in the background.
But do you remember, we'd sit around that table and we'd often have like barbecues and
that's right,
and and eat it around the table, and he was always sort of
thought
he should be part of it, and he'd stand
especially
there.
with his sunglasses. I mean, my goodness me, if everybody else was wearing theirs.
And then here we are. We had some roses. Anna got some roses sent to her, and he saw these roses and he thought he'd like to eat them. And suddenly, poor old Anna was having to snatch the vase away.
Well, it was the smell of them.
He did tip it over.
It was
to eat them.
it was because they smelt so sweet. That's why he loved them.
But he thought, quite nice. So he thought he was going to muscle in on the old roses then. And
He was quite a
again.
greedy little thing, wasn't he?
You just talked about his sunglasses. There's another lovely couple of pictures of him with his sunglasses. Anna, what was that story about the little boy? I remember he wouldn't wear his glasses, would he?
No, he wouldn't. That's right. And when I was in London, I remember going into class, and this little boy, he just was causing pandemonium. Everybody else, all the other children were supposed to be wearing theirs, and they wore theirs. And the teacher was very worried because he needed to wear his for his lessons. And I just remember pulling a picture out and a cassette recorder of Smokey talking and this, that, and the other. And the picture that you see there, and he saw the picture and he just couldn't believe it. And Smokey, because he was wearing his sunglasses, actually won a gold star from the whole school. And
he quite liked dressing up.
Oh, he did. He loved it.
Do you remember?
He was into everything.
He put the riding hat on his head, didn't he?
Yeah, and he also. Do you remember he used to have that kind of? He used to have that sort of leather fly fringe thing that he would have, and he quite fancied himself.
There he is
with
the riding hat on his head. Helen would wear that, and so he thought he'd like to wear one too.
He was very good. He
was
always.
But he
loved dressing up.
Yeah. He loved his sunglasses. Yes, he did. And at Christmas, of course, he loved. We'd go for a walk every Christmas day along the lane, and he would have his Christmas hat on like an elf, with a pom-pom on the end.
And tinsel tied around his neck.
Yes, and tinsel around his, as you said.
He loved it.
And he always had his Christmas pudding and custard.
And anybody that saw him, all the neighbours always used to say, "Oh, here comes Smokey."
He was well
known. He was well known because when you think about it, walked and rode up and down that lane for 30 odd years. And then
he was known around the area. He was known on the golf course with his glasses.
He loved dressing up.
He did.